Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first official edition of Smart Talk, the IoT Podcast. My name is Suhail Dinat, Senior Content Writer at Fox, the Vivica Group, whatever you want to call it. And my guest today is a man who needs no introduction, but we'll give him one nonetheless. Without further ado, I'd like to say hello to Mr. Rodney Taylor. He's the MD of Job Guardian I, part of the Vivica Group. And for today, he's our expert in all things AI. Rodney, say hello.
Hi there, Suhail, and all the viewers. Thanks for the opportunity to catch up with you with regards to AI and where things are possibly going, especially in South Africa.
Rodney, where do we even start? AI is such a buzzword at the moment. It's almost as popular as Prime. And we're going to have so much to cover. So let's just jump straight into it. Can you take a few seconds to tell us a bit about yourself? Who's Rodney Taylor? What about your background? And how did you end up in the world of IoT?
100%. Well, yeah, so from a very young age, at the age of 25, I started my entrepreneur journey, and I've always been exposed to technology from my early days at Roynet and Nasher to the start of cell phones, to my journey to Konica and iTech, where it was the start of even color printers. Back in my day, there was mono monitors and mono printers, not giving my age away. And then subsequently, obviously, the boom of the internet, connectivity, cloud, VM, storage, payment gateways, Internet of Things. So over the past 27 years, I've really only been exposed to the ICT sort of landscape. And it's been a wonderful journey. And here we are at AI, and can't wait to talk to the listeners and give them some feedback of where I see things going.
So I know you alluded to it, and I don't want to guess your age or make you feel old, but I can't imagine IoT, and maybe certainly not AI, even existed when you were studying. But you've clearly had a long story journey with technology and watched its progression over the years. How have things changed since you were an up-and-coming youngster like myself and to where you are now?
Well, for the listeners, Christopher Strachey actually was the first person that wrote a program using AI in 1951. So AI has been around for some time, but it's obviously evolving at a rapid pace at the moment. In my days, AI was very limited, that it was more the compiling of data and information by people, instead of actual servers and software. So AI is most definitely been around for a while, but at the scale that we can do things now, that just didn't exist. And the time that it took back then, the time now, it's at a phenomenal rate and pace and speed when gathering information and then analytical information that you can obviously gather from that. So it's like when coal was first invented for steam trains, and then you got an electric train. That's how I compare the way technology is moving with regards to AI.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, I like to think I'm not that old. I'm certainly older than my wife believes, but younger than I believe. But I've seen the rapid progression in technology. It's quite frankly mind-boggling. When I was coming up in school, we used to get information from encyclopedias or pest our dad until he answered our question. And then one day there was Please School Meets. The next day there was Mixit. The next day there was BBM. The next day there was WhatsApp. And now things like jumping on a video call, which with Skype was mind-boggling at the time and half the time didn't work, is part of our daily lives. So the rate at which technology is evolved, I don't think anyone can dispute that this is the era of technology. But let's talk about our actual topic and our buzzword, which is AI. I do have a fairly limited understanding, but I need to ask the $1 million question. Is Skynet really going to take over? Are we going to see a Terminator-style situation soon?
Well, when we talk about AI, I mean, especially for the younger listeners out there, AI has both a positive as well as a negative effect. I look at some of the teenagers today. I mean, and I consider my time as a teenager growing up. I had toys, motorbikes, skateboards, and pets. AI is obviously changing the way people communicate. It's starting to change the way people create relationships today. So it's definitely having a material effect on the youth. And when you refer to Skynet, some people on the call might not even recall what that is. But Skynet from the Terminator was obviously an AI algorithm that took over the world and launched missiles. But it's very, very well, for listeners out there, it's worth noting that AI is not a single entity, but a broad field of study, that encompasses different types of technologies and applications. So it's extremely unlikely that a single AI system or application could be so powerful to take over the world. So I think the listeners can rest easy at night. That won't be happening in the near future.
You could say it's a pity. I'm sure there's plenty of us who wishes that we had an automated home office or something of that magnitude. But let's get back to it. So when you say AI, I know a lot of us immediately go to ChatGPT because that's our topic of the day. But what are the other forms of AI, which some could argue are threatening and even risking redundancy for job skills worldwide?
So AI is most definitely has crept its way into, to social media. ChatGPT is a prime example of social media jumping on the bandwagon with regards to AI. But I mean, AI, with regards to business and the environment where it plays a significant role. Not asking it for it to tell you a 100-word poem for your English essay, but there are going to be many positions that wouldn't say become redundant, but are going to be replaced over time, like anything when business evolves. And AI has most definitely starting to replace entry-level admin roles. Your data entry clerks. Certain software engineers and coders are starting to use a lot of AI, whereas in the past they would have to do the work themselves. You've all encountered AI in a call center. We start seeing graphic designers, copywriters, basic accounting, all starting to be utilized in the world of AI. So, it's a technology that companies need to embrace, and it's a technology that employers as well as employees need to embrace. But it's a journey. When you're embracing technology, it's a journey. It's not something that will just happen overnight.
So my next question is actually a two-parter. What does this mean for South Africa? On one hand, we have the perpetual problems with power, network, connectivity, and all of the above. Does this compromise our ability to adapt AI as a whole? And then part two of the question is, what does it mean for the job sector in SA? We're already rife with unemployment. People are struggling to find an honest living or a way to make ends meet. Does this then put jobs and livelihoods at risk?
So it's a valid point. I mean, the South African economy at the moment, the unemployment numbers came out, which were down, and the safety and crime numbers are up. So we all know about load shedding. So we're in quite a difficult place at the moment. But this is a perfect opportunity for AI to actually be embraced, and a perfect opportunity for the consumer as well as business owner as well as the employee to embrace AI. I mean, if I just unpack with load shedding, we are starting to use AI in our nerve center at Guardian Eye, where we're able to gather information about a person or a site's electrical consumption. And you can only improve the consumption if you know what the consumption is. So first we need to gather what electricity is actually being utilized. And then from there, you can control and utilize that energy in a more efficient way. So there's a perfect example where AI can actually reduce costs in the South African economy, and it can reduce wastage in the South African economy relating to power. And when it comes back to security, I mean, we've seen every estate, every business park you go into, there's a security guard standing somewhere. AI now is starting to utilize camera technology, where AI now is starting to evolve, where it's more intelligent guarding. So the AI is detecting the threat. AI never sleeps. AI never goes off. And I'll get to your point now about load shedding and connectivity. But AI is obviously more reliant and more reliable than a person. And in conjunction with a human being, you'll obviously get the perfect combination. So in the security industry, AI is very relevant at the moment, where you're able to now use algorithms to detect events, detect threats. And with regards to the load shedding and with regards to the connectivity disruptions, AI can actually run on what we call an edge device. So it'll continue to run the analytics and will continue to be the brain beyond the cloud. But once the connectivity comes back or the power comes back, that then will revert back to the cloud and update that information. So we've got some very, very clever AI designs that allows us to continue business as usual with power off and connectivity off.
So it brings me to my question. My main question actually is that we're not technically here as AI or ChatGPT ambassadors. We're speaking from a Guardian Eye perspective. So where does GE fit into this with the whole technology and AI revolution? And how does this tie into what you guys have to offer in terms of value-added services?
So Guardian Eye is a prime example of a company that chose to embrace AI. And Guardian Eye was a business that's it's in its 12th year. It was a business that did traditional work, whereby it would do it owned a control room, it used connectivity, it had cameras around the country, and it would literally have people watching cameras to make sure that there are no crime or no incidents. With the adoption of AI, we're able now to use any camera anywhere in South Africa, utilizing AI, where that information can then come into our nerve center, and our nerve center can detect and monitor thousands and thousands of sites, whereas in the past we could only monitor hundreds of sites without having to increase the capacity of our staff count. What this also has done is it's had us upskill all of our staff, that they are now embracing AI. They are embracing the platforms that we've currently got that are out there monitoring sites. So we're actually on the up at the moment, where we're hiring more staff because we need more eyes on the AI than we ever had in the past by doing the old traditional way of business. And cameras is one sensor that we bring into our AI. We also bring in sensors that are attached to refrigeration, attached to high value assets, attached to health devices. So you've got this combination of things out there collecting data relating to that customer's vertical. And from that information comes into our Internet of Things global platform. And from there, the AI starts doing its magic in conjunction with obviously our staff. And from there, we can make real-time decisions for our customers to make real-time choices in their business.
So I think you guys have truly embodied what it means as an organization to embrace the concept of AI. I don't think a solution from any organizational perspective is hitting the ground and pretend it doesn't exist. I think AI is real. It's something that is prevalent, and perhaps the solution of the middle ground is learning to change the way we view it, and rather it's something that threatens jobs, use it as a tool to do our jobs better and to function better as a society.
100%. I mean, that's Guardian Eye's view. And, we take a very consultative approach, process when we talk to our customers and our suppliers about this journey that we're on together. And ultimately, it's about the employer and employee engagement, and AI fits in the middle there. And it's how we manage this journey together, because it is going to be a journey together. The one doesn't work without the other. And, there's disruptive technology. We talk about ChatGPT, but I mean, Uber was a very big disruptive technology that's been around for some time. Airbnb is another disruptive technology that obviously has been embraced globally. And we are, as Guardian Eye, are hoping that our new disruptive technology around healthcare, which is called AVA, will be the next disruptive technology utilizing AI and our nerve center around primary healthcare in South Africa. So we'll be very excited to talk to you about that in the near future as well.
100%. I mean, I think throughout history, there was always new technologies and always hangers on to the previous ones that resisted it. This could apply to anything from BBM to cloud to motorcar to Wikipedia. But I admire Guardian Eye for taking the stance of embracing technology. But unfortunately, Rodney, that's all we have time for today. I feel like you and I could probably chat about this for another hour or so, but I'm going to have to wrap it up. However, to our listeners at home, fear not, because This is actually going to be a weekly podcast, and you and I will be back same time next week to discuss a whole new wealth of issues. Rodney, any final words for this edition?
Yes, no, Sal, once again, just thanks to you and the listeners. And yeah, we've got some really exciting discussion points ahead for 2023. So yeah, looking forward to sharing our journey as well as the journey of our customers and our listeners.
100%. And I'm looking forward to hosting you. I'm sure that this is just scratching the surface of all the things we're going to talk about in the future. However, let me wrap it up. Rodney, thank you for your time and thank you for your effort. And to all our listeners at home, thank you for your time and thank you for listening to us. We will catch you next week, same time, same place. And until then, the
3, 2, 1.